The great meeting hall was huge, so huge that Tae-won Kim could barely see the other side. The crystal spire of galactic unity was the biggest building he had ever seen. It was made of clear crystal that sparkled with rainbow colors. The building floated in space around a planet called Nexus Prime. Tae-1 sat in the human section. He was tired, very tired. This was his 15th year as Earth's main speaker at the Galactic Council. 15 years of talking, arguing, and trying to make peace between angry alien races. Next to him sat Dr. So-young Park. She was reading reports on her tablet. Her face looked worried. Jin-ho Lee, the younger human diplomat, was writing notes. All three humans wore simple blue uniforms. They looked plain compared to the colorful aliens around them. The meeting hall had 847 different seats. Each seat was made for a different alien race. Some aliens were tall and thin. Others were short and round. Some had wings. Others had tentacles. Some glowed with their own light, but they all had one thing in common. They all looked down on humans. Chancellor Vexthera stood up. She was from the Altarian race. Her skin was silver and her eyes were bright gold. She was very tall and very proud. When she spoke, her voice echoed through the hall. "The Corvan trade ships are blocking our mining routes," she said. "This is an act of war. We demand the council punish them." Prime Minister Koldash jumped up from his seat. He was a Corvan. His race looked like giant bears with thick fur and sharp teeth. His voice was deep and angry. "The Altarians are stealing from our worlds," he growled. "They take our metals and give us nothing. We'll not let them pass." The two aliens glared at each other. Other species began to take sides. Some supported the Altarians, others backed the Corvans. Voices rose. Arguments started. Tae-won had seen this many times before. It always ended the same way. Senator Ilaminthus floated above her seat. Her race, the Science, did not need to walk. They used their minds to move. She was like a ghost made of light. Her voice was soft, but everyone could hear it. "Once again, we need human help," she said. "Ambassador Kim, will you solve this problem for us?" All eyes turned to Tae-won. This was normal. For 300 years, humans had fixed problems for the galaxy. They stopped wars. They made peace deals. They found solutions where no one else could. But humans got nothing in return. They had no vote on important matters. Other races treated them like servants. Smart servants. But servants just the same. Tae-1 stood up slowly. He was not tall like the Altarians. He was not strong like the Corvans. He was just a human. But when he spoke, the hall became quiet. "For 3 centuries, humans have served this council," he said. His voice was calm and steady. "We have stopped 67 wars. We have made peace between races that hated each other. We have saved billions of lives." The aliens nodded. This was true. "But today, you ask us to solve another problem while denying us basic rights," Tae-won continued. "You want us to stop the Altarian-Corvan conflict, but you will not let us vote on the resource allocation treaty." Chancellor Vexthera's golden eyes flashed with anger. "Humans are too young to understand such complex matters," she said. "Your species has only been in space for a few hundred years. We have traveled the stars for thousands of years." "Yes," agreed Prime Minister Koldash. "You are good at making peace, but you do not understand galactic economics. Leave the important decisions to older, wiser races." Tae-won felt So-young's hand touch his arm. She was warning him to stay calm. Jin-ho stopped writing and looked up. The young diplomat's face was red with anger. "The resource allocation treaty will take mining rights from human colonies," Tae-won said. "It will hurt our people, but you expect us to work for free while you make us poorer." Several aliens laughed. The sound was not pleasant. It mixed together like broken glass and animal noises. "Humans have only 12 colony worlds," said Chancellor Vexthera. "We Altarians have over 300 worlds. The Corvans have 200. Your people are not important enough to have equal voting rights." More laughter filled the hall. Even some of the smaller alien races joined in. They seemed to think it was funny that humans wanted to be treated fairly. Tae-won looked around the hall. He saw the same thing he had seen for 15 years. Beautiful aliens in a beautiful building, all thinking they were better than humans, all taking human help for granted. He thought about his grandfather. The old man had told him stories about Earth's history, stories about how humans had always been underestimated. Other people always thought humans were weak or stupid. They were always wrong. "Dr. Park," Tae-won said quietly. "Send the message." So-young nodded. She pressed a button on her tablet. Across the galaxy, human ships began to receive new orders. Tae-won faced the council again. The aliens were still laughing and joking. They had not noticed what just happened. "The Terran Federation formally withdraws from all mediation responsibilities," Tae-won announced. "We will no longer serve as peacekeepers for the Galactic Council. We will no longer solve your conflicts. We will no longer sacrifice our people for your wars." The laughter stopped. The hall became very quiet. Furthermore, Tae-won continued, "All human personnel are leaving council space immediately. All trade agreements are cancelled. All scientific cooperation is ended. All cultural exchange programs are stopped." Chancellor Vexthera stood up. Her silver face showed shock. "You cannot be serious," she said. Humans need the Council's protection. Your little empire will fall apart without us. We wish the Council success in their future endeavors, Taewon said. He bowed politely. Goodbye. The three humans walked toward the exit. Their footsteps echoed in the silent hall. Behind them, aliens began to whisper and argue. They are bluffing, someone said. Humans always come back, said another voice. They need us more than we need them, said a third. As they reached the door, Jinho looked back. The young diplomat saw hundreds of alien faces staring at them. Some looked angry, others looked confused, a few looked worried. Sir Jinho whispered to Taewon, "Are we really doing this?" Taewon smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had been patient for too long. Jinho, he said. They are about to learn what the galaxy looks like without humans to fix their problems. The three humans left the Crystal Spire. Their ship was waiting outside. As they flew away, they could see other human ships leaving from all over the station. Transport ships, science vessels, medical ships and military escorts, all heading home to human space. Behind them, the first emergency alarm began to sound. The vegan agricultural dispute, which had been waiting for human mediation, had just turned violent. Two farming worlds were now shooting at each other. In the great meeting hall, the aliens were no longer laughing. 6 months had passed since the humans left. The galaxy was burning. Captain Honsol Choi stood on the bridge of his ship, the Star Walker. Through the big windows, he could see a beautiful blue planet called Vega 4. But the planet was not peaceful anymore. Smoke rose from its cities. Orange flames lit up the night side, sir, said his communications officer. We're getting another emergency call from the vegan government. They want us to help stop the fighting. Honsol shook his head. We don't answer those calls anymore. Remember the new orders. The communications officer nodded sadly. She was young and it was hard for her to ignore people asking for help, but orders were orders. 6 months ago, humans had helped everyone. Now humans helped no one outside their own space. The change was huge. Dr. Young-A Lim sat in her secret observation post on the edge of council space. Her job was to watch and report what happened after humans left. What she saw made her feel sick. 17 wars had started in 6 months. 17 before humans left. There might be one small war per year. Usually human diplomats would stop it before anyone died, but now there were no human diplomats, no human peacekeepers, no human mediators to make angry aliens sit down and talk. Young-A typed her report slowly. Each word felt heavy. Day 186 after withdrawal. The Corvin-Altarian trade war has spread to 3 star systems. The death count is now over 2 million beings. The galactic banking system is failing because humans manage 34% of all money transfers between worlds. Food shipments have stopped to 12 planets because humans were the only ones both sides trusted to deliver supplies safely. She paused and looked out her window. In the distance she could see the lights of a space battle. Red laser beams crossed the darkness like deadly lightning. Back at the Crystal Spire, Chancellor Vexthera was not laughing anymore. Her beautiful silver face looked tired and worried. The great meeting hall was half empty. Many alien races had stopped coming to council meetings. Why should they? Nothing got decided anymore. Prime Minister Koldash sat across from her. The big bear-like alien looked angry, but also scared. His people were dying in the war with the Altarians. Both sides had asked for human help. Both sides got silence. Send another message to Earth, Vexthera ordered her assistant. Ma'am, the assistant said quietly, we have sent 847 messages to Earth in the past 6 months. None have been answered. Then send message 848, Vexthera snapped. Senator Ilaminthus floated into the room. The ghostly scion looked more pale than usual. Her mind-reading abilities let her feel the emotions of people across the galaxy. Right now, those emotions were fear, anger, and despair. The humans are not just ignoring us, she said in her soft voice. They have completely cut off all contact with council space. No trade, no communication, no travel. It's like they built a wall around themselves. This was true. Admiral Kyungmin Yoon had planned very carefully. Human space was now protected by automated defense platforms. These machines would not attack alien ships, but they would not let them pass either. Any alien who tried to enter human space got a simple message: access denied. Please leave immediately. Some aliens had tried to force their way in. They found that human defenses were much stronger than anyone had thought. Ships that had seemed weak before now showed weapons and shields that surprised everyone. The Altarian Sword, one of the most powerful warships in the galaxy, had tried to break through human defenses near the Sol system. It was turned back by a single human defense platform. The platform was small, but its weapons were incredibly advanced. How Captain Vexmora had asked his crew after the failed attempt. How do humans have such technology? No one had an answer. Dr. Young-A Lim had some answers, but she was not sharing them with the council. In her secret reports to Admiral Yoon, she explained what she had learned. The aliens never paid attention to human technology, she wrote. They thought we were primitive because our ships looked simple. They never realized we made them simple on purpose. We didn't want to scare anyone. We wanted to be friends, not enemies. But, while we were being friends, we were also preparing. Every human scientist, every human engineer, every human inventor was working on new ideas. We just never showed them off. Now we don't need to hide anymore. The truth was shocking. Humans had been holding back for 300 years. They had better weapons, better shields, better engines, and better computers than most council races. They just pretended to be weaker to avoid making enemies. Now that humans were gone, the galaxy was learning what it had lost. The Draconian Republic was fighting the insect collective over mining rights before human negotiators would have found a way for both sides to get what they needed. Now both sides just shot at each other until one gave up or died. The Federation had stopped all trade with air-breathing races. Before, human translators and cultural experts helped different types of beings understand each other. Now confusion and fear made everyone suspicious of everyone else. The Universal Medical Organization was falling apart. Human doctors had worked on every major disease cure for the past century. Human researchers had shared their knowledge freely with all races. Now, when new diseases appeared, no one knew how to fight them. Food production was down on 40 planets. Human agricultural experts had taught farming techniques to dozens of worlds. Without their help, crops were failing and people were starving. Transportation between worlds was becoming dangerous. Human ship captains had been trusted by all races to carry cargo safely. They never stole, never cheated, and never took sides in conflicts. Now, merchant ships were being attacked by pirates and military forces from different races. But the worst part was the fear. Young A could feel it when she watched the news from across the galaxy. For 3 centuries, beings had known that if something really bad happened, humans would help. Humans would find a solution. Humans would make things better. Now that safety net was gone, every race was alone with their problems, and most of them were discovering that they were not very good at solving problems by themselves. Chancellor Vexthera stood in her private office, looking out at the stars. Her assistant brought her the daily reports. Each one was worse than the last. The Zephyrian system has declared independence from the Council, the assistant said. They say the Council cannot protect them anymore. The Crystal Mining Consortium has shut down operations in 7 systems. Too dangerous without human security. The Galactic University has closed 3 campuses. All the human professors left and took their research with them. Vexthera closed her golden eyes. For the first time in her long life, she was beginning to understand that the Altarians might not be the smartest race in the galaxy. Somewhere in the darkness between stars, Captain Hansel Choi received a new message from Earth. Admiral Yoon's orders were simple: continue observation, do not interfere, let them learn. Hansel looked at his crew. They were all human. They all wanted to help the suffering beings they could see through their telescopes. But they had their orders. Sir, his communications officer said, the vegan government is offering to pay us 1 million credits to stop their civil war. No, Hansel said firmly. We don't work for the council anymore. We don't work for council members. We take care of our own people now. In her hidden observation post, Dr. Young A. Lim finished her daily report with a simple sentence. The galaxy is learning what it means to live without humans. They are not enjoying the lesson. The silence from human space continued, and every day, that silence seemed to grow louder. 1 year had passed since the humans left. Now the galaxy faced something much worse than wars and broken trade deals. Something that made all the previous problems seem small. The Devourers had returned. General Sung Ho Kwan stood in the command center of the human military base on Kepler Station. The screens around him showed terrible images. 3 entire civilizations were gone, eaten, consumed by machines that turned living worlds into empty metal balls. Sir, his aide said, we're getting emergency broadcasts from the council. They're begging for help. Sung Ho watched the reports with cold eyes. The Devourers were ancient machines. They had slept for thousands of years at the edge of the galaxy. Special barriers kept them asleep, but those barriers needed constant care and maintenance. For 3 centuries, human engineers had taken care of those barriers. Human scientists had studied the Devourer technology. Human soldiers had stood guard at the barrier stations. The council had taken credit for protecting the galaxy, but humans had done all the real work. When humans left, no one else knew how to maintain the barriers. Other races thought the barriers were automatic. They thought the barriers would work forever without help. They were wrong. Ambassador Haewon Jung entered the command center. She had been the human representative to the Council's Defense Committee. For 20 years, she knew more about galactic threats than almost anyone. The Vorthan Empire is completely gone, she reported. 2 billion people, the Devourers consumed their entire system in 3 days. Sung Ho nodded grimly. What about the Christic Federation? Fighting back, but losing badly. Their weapons can't damage Devourer ships. The Council's combined fleet tried to help. Their ships were destroyed in the first battle. Dr. Wu Jinnam looked up from his computer terminal. He was the human expert on Devourer technology. His research had helped build the original barrier systems. The Council finally sent us technical data on the Devourer attacks, he said. They want to know how to stop them. And Sung Hu asked. They can't, Wu Jin said simply. Not with their technology. Not with their tactics. The Devourers are machines designed to consume organic civilizations. Only humans ever figured out how to fight them effectively. This was a terrible truth the Council was learning. Every major threat to the galaxy in the past 3 centuries had been stopped by humans. The Council had given speeches and held ceremonies, but humans had done the fighting and dying. The plague of shadows that nearly destroyed the Scion homeworld. Human doctors had found the cure. The void pirates who raided shipping lanes for 50 years. Human military forces had hunted them down. The solar storm crisis that threatened to burn out electronics across 100 systems. Human engineers had built the protective shields. Again and again, humans had saved the galaxy. The Council had barely noticed now the galaxy was paying the price for their blindness in the Crystal Spire. What remained of the Galactic Council met in emergency session. Only half the seats were filled. Many races had declared independence or were too busy fighting for their lives to attend meetings. Chancellor Vexthera looked terrible. Her silver skin was pale and her golden eyes were tired. She had not slept well in months. The Devourers will reach the inner systems in 6 months, she announced. Our military forces cannot stop them. Our scientists cannot understand their technology. Our engineers cannot rebuild the barrier systems. Senator Ilaminthus floated in her usual place, but she looked like she was in pain. Her telepathic abilities let her feel the fear and despair of billions of beings across the galaxy. The emotional weight was crushing her. There is only one hope, she said in her soft voice. We must ask the humans for help. Prime Minister Koldash slammed his massive fist on his chair. They will laugh at us, he growled, just like we laughed at them. Then we must accept their laughter, Vexthera said quietly, because without their help we will all die. Meanwhile, Admiral Kung Min Yoon was holding his own war council on the human military station New Seoul. The station was hidden in the space between stars. Invisible to Council sensors around the table sat the leaders of humanity's real military forces. Not the small, simple fleets the Council had seen, but the massive, advanced armadas that humans had been building in secret for decades. The Devourers have consumed the Outer Rim, reported Captain Seokjin Park. They're moving toward human colonies in the Tau sector. Our colonies are defended, Admiral Yoon said calmly. The question is whether we help the Council races. The debate was fierce. Many humans were angry about how they had been treated. Why should they risk their lives for beings who had laughed at them and ignored them? But Captain Park had a different view. The Devourers won't stop with Council space, he argued. Eventually, they'll threaten us too. Better to stop them now, while we can choose our own terms. Dr. Wu Jin-nam agreed. The Devourer technology adapts and grows. The longer we wait, the stronger they become. If we're going to fight them, we should do it now. Admiral Yoon listened to all opinions. Finally, he made his decision. We will engage the Devourers, he announced, but not to save the Council. We will protect human colonies and human interests. If Council worlds benefit from our actions, that is their good fortune. 3 days later, the first human battle fleet emerged from dark space. The aliens who saw it could not believe their eyes. The ships were enormous. They were sleek and powerful, with weapons and shields far beyond anything the Council possessed. These were not the simple vessels humans had used during their Council service. These were warships built for serious combat. Captain Park led the attack on the Devourer fleet, threatening the Rigel system. His strategy was perfect. His weapons were devastating. In 4 hours, he destroyed Devourer forces that had defeated the Council's best fleets. But when grateful Council representatives tried to thank him, Park's response was cold. We did not come to save you, he transmitted. We came to protect the human research station in this system. Your survival was incidental. The Council watched in shock as human fleets systematically destroyed Devourer forces across 3 sectors. The humans fought with skill and technology that seemed impossible. Their tactics were flawless. Their weapons were incredibly advanced, but they only saved their own installations. They rescued human personnel and defended human colonies. Council worlds that happened to be nearby were helped, but many others were left to face the Devourers alone. Dr. Chang Ho-bei, the Council's expert on human psychology, finally understood what was happening. He presented his report to the emergency Council session. We always wondered why humans were so good at solving problems, he said. Now I know. Their entire species evolved to survive impossible situations. Their short lives make them think quickly. Their violent history taught them to fight effectively. Their diverse cultures give them creative solutions. But most important, he continued, they learned to work together despite their differences. We never learned this. We formed the Council to make ourselves feel important, but we never learned to truly cooperate. Chancellor Vexthera listened to the report with growing horror. Are you saying humans are ... superior to us? I am saying, we made a terrible mistake, Bei replied. We thought we were the teachers and they were the students, but they were teaching us all along. We were too proud to learn. As if to prove his point, news arrived that human forces had just eliminated the main Devourer fleet. The ancient machine, a threat that had terrified the galaxy for weeks, was gone, destroyed by human military power that no one had suspected existed. but the humans were already leaving. Their ships disappeared back into dark space, leaving the council to count their losses and wonder what other secrets humanity was hiding. The galaxy was safe from the divers, but the council's pride was completely destroyed. Part 4. And Discovery. 2 years had passed since the humans left the council. The galaxy was falling apart. Scientist Donghai and SEO worked in his laboratory on the hidden human colony of New Haven. Through his window, he could see beautiful gardens and clean cities. Children played in parks while their parents worked in advanced factories and research centers. Everything was peaceful and prosperous. The colony had everything it needed: clean air, fresh water, plenty of food, and technology that would amaze the council races. But Donghayan was not thinking about his colony's success. He was reading reports from council space. The reports made him sad. 40-7 species had left the Galactic Council. They could not handle the constant wars and economic chaos. Without human mediation, every small disagreement became a major conflict. Trade routes were dangerous. Scientific cooperation had stopped. Cultural exchange was dead. The council that once ruled 847 species now controlled fewer than 200, and that number dropped every month. "Sir," his assistant said, "we have visitors at the main gate." Council representatives. Donghai sighed. "How many this time?" 12 ships. "They say they come in peace and want to talk." This was the 4th council delegation to find New Haven in the past year. Each time they begged for help. Each time humans politely sent them away. But this delegation was different. It was led by Commander Yoon Ji-Ru, a human who had served with council forces before the withdrawal. She had been away on a deep space mission when humans left council space. Now she was working with the aliens, trying to find her own people. Donghyun decided to meet with her. Maybe it was time for humans to hear what the council had to say. The meeting took place in New Haven's council chamber. Dongyan sat across from Yoonji and 3 alien representatives. The aliens looked around the room with wonder. The technology was far beyond anything in council space. The walls are made of crystal that conducts both light and information, Donghyun explained. The furniture adjusts to each person's comfort preferences. The air is cleaned by plants that were genetically modified to process any atmosphere type. Dr. Chang Ho Bei, the council's human psychology expert, took notes frantically. "How long have humans possessed such technology?" "We developed most of it during our time with the council," Donghyun said. "But we kept it simple in council space. We didn't want to make anyone nervous." The alien representatives exchanged glances. Commander Vexkila, an Altarian military officer, spoke first. "We have studied your recent actions against the Devourers," she said. "Your weapons technology is centuries ahead of ours. Your ship designs are completely revolutionary. Your battle tactics are flawless." "How?" asked Dr. Yilmoth, a Scion scientist. "How did you advance so quickly?" Donghyun smiled sadly. "We didn't advance quickly. We've been working on these things for 300 years. Every time we solved a problem for the council, we learned something new. Every time we stopped a war, we studied better ways to prevent violence. Every time we mediated a dispute, we developed better understanding of different species." "But you never shared this knowledge," Commander Vexkila said accusingly. "We tried," Donghan replied. "Do you remember the Terran Science Initiative? We offered to share our agricultural improvements with all council members. Chancellor Vexthera said human science was too primitive to be useful. The Human Medical Research Program, we wanted to teach our healing techniques to all species. Prime Minister Koldash said human medicine was crude compared to proper galactic standards. The interspecies cultural exchange. We hoped to learn from other races while sharing our own experiences. Senator Ilaminthus said human culture was too simple and violent to be worth studying." Dr. Chang Ho Bei looked embarrassed. He remembered those programs. He had even voted against some of them. "We stopped trying to share," Donghyun continued. "Instead, we just solved your problems quietly and developed our own solutions in private. We built this colony and dozens of others in the empty spaces between council worlds. We advanced our technology in secret. We prepared for the day when the council would no longer want our help." Commander Yoonji-Ru leaned forward. "Donghyun," she said, "I've seen what's happening in council space. People are dying. Civilizations are collapsing. The galaxy needs help." "The galaxy chose its path," Donghyun replied. "For 3 centuries, we offered friendship and cooperation. The council wanted servants, not partners. Now they have neither. But surely you feel some responsibility." Dr. Yilmoth said, "Your species has always helped others. It's what makes you special." Donghyun was quiet for a long moment. Then he activated a holographic display. It showed star maps of the galaxy. Red areas marked conflict zones. Yellow areas showed economic collapse. Gray areas indicated worlds that had gone completely silent. 70% of council space is now considered dangerous," he said. "Trade has dropped by 80%. Medical emergencies are handled poorly or not at all. Scientific research has almost stopped. Educational exchanges have ended completely. But look at this," he continued, changing the display. New areas appeared in blue and green. Human space has grown by 300%. Our population has doubled. Our technology has advanced 50 years in just 2 years of independence. Our colonies are peaceful, prosperous, and happy. You could help us achieve the same thing, Commander Vexkilla said desperately. We tried for 3 centuries. Donghan said firmly. You laughed at us. You dismissed our ideas. You treated us like useful animals. Now you want our help because you're failing without us. Double quotes. Dr. Chang Ho Bei spoke up. We were wrong, I admit. Yet the council was wrong about humans. We thought we were superior because we lived longer or had prettier energy weapons. But we never learned the most important skill, which is Donghan asked how to change, how to adapt, how to grow. Bei's voice was full of regret. Your species spent centuries trying to teach us these things. We were too proud to learn. Commander Yunji-Ru showed them new intelligence reports. The situation is getting worse every day. The Zephyrian Independence War has spread to 12 systems. The Great Trade Collapse has left 40 worlds without essential supplies. The medical crisis has killed more people than the Devourer attacks. And there are new threats, she continued. Strange signals from the Andromeda Galaxy. Energy readings that suggest another ancient danger might be awakening. The Council's scientists can't understand the data their military can't prepare for. Unknown threats. Donghayan studied the reports. His scientific mind automatically began analyzing the problems and thinking of solutions. It was human nature to help, even when they had been treated badly. But he controlled that impulse. These are Council problems now, he said. We are no longer part of your civilization. What if ... Dr. Chang Ho Bei said slowly. What if the Council officially apologized? What if we admitted our mistakes publicly? What if we restructured the entire system? Commander Vexkilla added. What if we gave humans equal representation? What if we offered to share our own technology and knowledge freely? Dr. Yilmoth suggested. Donghayan shook his head. Words are easy to say. The Council has made many promises over the centuries. Few were kept. Then what would it take? Yangji asked. What would convince humans to return? Donghayan stood and they walked to the window. Outside, human children were learning in schools that taught them about cooperation, respect, and solving problems peacefully. These children would grow up in a galaxy where humans were respected and valued. The old Council is dead, he said finally. It died when we left. If the galaxy wants our help again, it will need to build something completely new, something based on equality, not superiority, something based on cooperation, not domination, something humans can be proud to join, he added, not embarrassed to serve. The alien representatives left New Haven with much to think about. They had seen what humans could accomplish when they worked for themselves instead of ungrateful masters. They had learned that human primitiveness was actually advanced thinking disguised as simplicity. Most importantly, they had discovered that humans were not coming back to save the old system. If the galaxy wanted human help, it would have to create a new system worthy of human participation. The question was, were the remaining Council races smart enough and humble enough to build such a system? Time was running out to find the answer. 3 years had passed since the humans left. The galaxy was dying. Elder statesman Tahaino sat in the great council chamber on Earth. Around the table were the leaders of human civilization. They had a difficult choice to make. Outside the chamber's windows, Earth looked beautiful. Clean oceans sparkled in the sunlight. Green forests covered the continents. Cities glowed with the soft light of advanced technology. Humanity had prospered during their time away from galactic politics. But news from Council space was terrible. The reports on the table painted a picture of complete collapse. The Devourer threat has returned, reported Captain Seokajin Park. Not the machines we defeated before. Something new, something worse. Our intelligence suggests it's connected to the signals from the Andromeda Galaxy. The Council's remaining military forces were destroyed trying to investigate, added Admiral Kyung Min Yoon. They lost their last major fleet 3 days ago. 63 species have gone completely silent, said Dr. Wu Jin Nam. We don't know if they're dead or just hiding. Ambassador Nayoung Shin, the newest member of the Council, studied the reports with fresh eyes. She had been chosen to represent the younger generation of humans, the ones who had grown up during the withdrawal. These new Devourers are different, she said. They're not just consuming matter. They're consuming energy itself, eating stars, draining the power from entire solar systems. Elder Tae-Hyun-Oh nodded gravely. He was the architect of humanity's post-Council strategy. His plans had kept humanity safe and prosperous. But now those plans might need to change. Our scientists estimate the new Devourers will reach the edge of human space in 18 months, he said. We can defend our colonies, but the cost will be enormous. Or, Captain Park said, we can stop them now, while they're still far away and relatively weak. The debate that followed was intense. Many humans still felt angry about their treatment by the Council. Why should they risk their lives for beings who had mocked them and dismissed them? They called us primitives, said one council member. They treated us like servants, said another. They laughed when we offered to share our knowledge, added a third. But Ambassador Shin had a different perspective. I've read the historical records, she said. For 3 centuries, we helped them not because they deserved it, but because helping others is what makes us human. If we abandon that principle, now, she continued, we become something less than what we were. We become like them. Elder Taehyun-o listened to all opinions. He was old enough to remember when humans first joined the galactic community. He remembered the hope and excitement of meeting other intelligent species. He also remembered the disappointment and frustration when those species proved to be narrow-minded and arrogant. But he also remembered something else. My grandfather once told me, he said, that being the better person doesn't mean being perfect. It means choosing to do right even when others do wrong. The vote was close, but in the end, humanity chose to act. However, they would not act as servants or junior partners. This time they would set the terms. The first sign that something had changed came when human ships appeared in council space without warning. Not the simple vessels from before, but massive advanced fleets that made council technology look like children's toys. Chancellor Vex Thera, now the desperate leader of a dying civilization, received the human message in the ruins of the Crystal Spire. Half the great building had been destroyed in recent attacks. Most of the alien races had abandoned it completely. The Terran Federation offers assistance against the Devourer threat, the message said. But we will act according to our own strategies and priorities. Any species that wishes to cooperate with human forces must accept human command authority in all military operations. Furthermore, if human intervention proves successful, the following conditions must be met for continued cooperation. The conditions were harsh but fair. Complete restructuring of galactic government with equal representation for all species, recognition of human territorial sovereignty over expanded space, formal acknowledgement of human contributions to galactic civilization, establishment of new mediation protocols, requiring consent from all parties. Vexter read the conditions with mixed emotions. Her pride was wounded, but her species was dying. What choice do we have? She asked her advisors. The human military response to the new Devourer threat was swift and devastating. Captain Park led the main assault fleet using tactics that seemed impossible to alien observers. The new Devourers were incredibly powerful. They consumed energy directly from stars, making them nearly invulnerable to conventional weapons. Their ships could drain power from anything that came near them, but humans had studied the original Devourer technology for centuries. They understood how the energy consumption process worked. They had developed weapons specifically designed to disrupt it. The battle for the Centauri sector lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the new Devourer fleet was completely destroyed. Human forces had not lost a single ship, but the victory came with a demonstration of human resolve. When council worlds in the sector begged for protection, human forces helped. Only those that officially accepted the new cooperation terms. Others were left to defend themselves. Dr. Chang Ho-bei, now working as a liaison between humans and the remaining council species, tried to explain the human position to frustrated alien leaders. You still don't understand, he told them. Humans aren't punishing you out of spite. They're teaching you a lesson about respect and cooperation. For 3 centuries, you took their help for granted. You assumed they would always be there to solve your problems. Now they're showing you what partnership actually means. Equal responsibility, equal authority, equal respect. Senator Ilaminthus, her telepathic abilities weakened by years of absorbing galactic despair, finally spoke the truth many aliens had been avoiding. We were never their superiors, she admitted. We never even understood what superiority meant. We thought living longer made us wiser. We thought traveling space first made us more advanced. We thought having energy weapons made us more powerful. But humans understood something we never learned. True strength comes from the ability to change, to adapt, to grow. True wisdom, that comes from learning from mistakes. True power comes from helping others become stronger. The final Devourer stronghold was located in the Andromeda Gateway, where the new threat had first emerged. The combined human fleet that assembled for the assault was the largest military force the galaxy had ever seen. Ambassador Nayoung Shin stood on the bridge of the flagship New Seoul. Around her, human officers worked with quiet efficiency. These were people who had grown up believing in humanity's potential, not feeling ashamed of their origins. All fleets report ready, Admiral Yoon announced. We have representatives from 47 species who have accepted the new cooperation terms. They're requesting permission to participate in the assault. Granted, Nayoung said, but under human tactical command, we've learned that cooperation works best when someone takes responsibility for coordination. The battle was fierce but decisive. Human strategy and technology, supported by alien forces following human leadership, destroyed the Devourer source. The threat that had consumed dozens of civilizations was finally ended in the aftermath. Representatives from across the galaxy gathered on the rebuilt Crystal Spire. But this time the meeting was different. The Great Hall had been redesigned, with equal seating for all species. No race sat higher than others. No one claimed superiority. Ambassador Shin addressed the assembly with words that would be remembered for centuries. We return to you not as your servants, but as your partners. We offer our friendship not because you have earned it, but because we choose to be better than your past treatment of us would justify. The galaxy is vast enough for all of us to prosper, but never again will any species be dismissed or ignored, because they seem different or less advanced. Never again will pride and prejudice blind us to the value of cooperation. We are all children of the same universe. We all deserve respect, dignity, and the chance to contribute our unique gifts to the greater good. The applause that followed was not the polite recognition of the old council, but genuine appreciation from beings who had learned the hard way what they had almost lost as human ships departed after successfully mediating the first crisis of the new Galactic Alliance. Alien delegates watched with newfound understanding. They had learned that strength without wisdom is worthless, that age without growth means nothing, and that true leadership comes from service, not domination. The humans were still the same people who had left 3 years ago, but now the galaxy finally understood what they had always been: teachers, protectors, and friends who deserved better than they had received, but who chose to give their best anyway. The silence was finally broken, and in that breaking, something better was built.